Hello, friends. Welcome. I'm just going to wait a few seconds for people to sign on. And once you're here, just give me a wave or a hello or a thumbs up so that I know that you can see me and you can hear me and you're ready to do some fun stuff together. Today, the plan is to do a few balancing and a few core and stability strengthening exercises. So, yeah, I think we have this set up so that Oscar is here to join us again today. He will be demonstrating all the puppy variations. Actually, you're not a puppy anymore. You're kind of getting to be like, you're not old, but you're not a puppy. But you're a good boy. Okay, so yeah, good. I'm inside today because on Tuesday, I noticed the video quality hasn't been great. So I'm hoping inside I have better video quality, and also I will not, my computer will not die halfway through. So, all right, cool. So some people are here. All right, balance and core. These are questions we get asked about a lot. And we do have a lot of balance, not a lot, but a few different balance videos on Paddle Monster, and we include them with our strength training. At the end of every strength session, we have a few exercises for balance that you can go through and you can do. So some of these are already on the app, and some of them are not. So this will be, I'm going to go through a bunch of different exercises, and if you do them all with me, it will, by the end, be like we've done a little bit of a workout. Not a hard workout, but, well, it depends how hard you make it. We need some props, though. So take a minute to gather if you have, and if you don't, that's totally fine. Just get what you do have. If you have a stability ball, grab that. If you have a 2x4, I know that's like a weird one. You're like a 2x4. If you don't have a 2x4, we can work with a straight line, and I can just show you what you can do with the 2x4 later if you go out in your yard and find one like I did this morning. And if you have a balancing board, like, you know, an Indo board or any sort of balance trainer, we can do some fun stuff with that. If you do not have any of that, if you have a couple of paper plates, we can use paper plates as well as props today. So, and then grab your paddle. So if you have a stability ball, if you have a balance board, if you have paper plates, if you have a 2x4 just lying around your house, that you can grab quickly, or anything that we're going to do the walk a plank exercise, so something that's a straight line that you would have to balance on, and your paddle. So I will talk for a moment while you go and gather. So why do we do balance? Well, paddling, stand-up paddling, even sit-down paddling, we're working with an unstable surface. We're working on water, right? So improving our balance is really helpful for feeling stable on your board. Feeling stable on your board helps you take energy away from stabilizing and apply it to putting power into your stroke. So the more stable we are, the more powerful we can be when we paddle, because trying to balance on your board takes a lot of energy. So we want to be really good at balancing. And the other reason, well, it's a similar reason, is moving your feet on your board. And we're going to do exercises today right now that's going to help you improve being able to move your feet on your board. So if you're stuck at home and you are, whether you can go out and paddle or you can't go out and paddle right now, we're going to do exercises today that you can use to help improve your balance and moving on your board, so that when you do get back out on your board, you will have made improvements to moving your feet. So I want to talk about that today as well. Ways you can work on moving your feet, and if you do these frequently, even if you can't get out on the water right now, it's going to help you once you are able to be back on your board. So hopefully people have gathered, and let's go ahead and start. And so we're going to start by warming up. Can you see my feet? Yeah, kind of, sort of. Okay, we're going to start by warming up our ankles, and because the ankles are, you know, in the feet, so I'm going to do some ankle rolls. So I'm just rolling around my ankles, going in one direction. The ankles and the feet is where it all starts, right? The stabilization starts with whatever we have on the ground. Let's go the other direction. And then let's do grab a hold if you need to have, if you're next to a wall and you want to hold a wall, if you have a chair or something you want to hold on to, if you need that at any time, have something be next to a wall that you can hold on to. We're going to just do one foot, lift it up, and we're going to do some ankle rolls. So I'm trying not to move my knee, I'm just moving my ankle, and then I'm going to go the other direction. And you guys get to look at my really dirty feet. So ankles do a lot of work in stabilizing. All right, and then let's put it down again. It's okay if you need to be holding on for this. We haven't really started doing the balancing. We're just warming up. So I'm doing some ankle circles, big ankle circles, not letting my knee move. And then I'm going to go the other direction, which always feels so awkward. Anybody's feet dirtier than mine? So, all right. Standing on one leg. If you were holding on, be near something that you can still hold on to. But let's try and start to challenge ourselves to only use that prop or chair, whatever it may be, to hold on to, or wall if we need it. So we're just going to bring one leg up, and I want you to bring it up so that your thigh is parallel to the ground. And notice if you have a straight standing leg, so your standing leg is the straight one, right? Locked out knee and ankle. I want you to feel the difference between locking out your knee and ankle and then taking a slight bend in the knee. And I want you to just feel, what is the difference between when you lock it out, and when I'm bending, I'm letting the hips go back like a hip hinge. So I'm not collapsing and having the knee go forward when I bend. I'm bending like I'm hinging, but I did take a bend to my knee, right? But feel the difference between locking out and bending. And then let's try the other leg. So we're going to bring the knee up to parallel. I have it locked out, and then I take a slight bend. And so hopefully when you're locked out, you feel, what I feel is my ankle, my joints work more when I lock them out. And when I take a slight bend, and I send my hips back just a little, and I bend my knee just a little, I feel my leg muscles engage, right? So when I lock out, my joints have to do more work. When I give a bend, my muscles have to do more work, and the muscles are going to protect the joints, right? So sometimes having a more straight leg is a better position depending on what exercise you're doing, and sometimes having a slight bend is more appropriate, right? So I just wanted you to feel that difference. Okay, so let's go back to the first leg that we did, and so have just that slight bend, and let's go ahead and see if you can straighten that top leg out, and we're just doing some kicks. So now we're warming up. We're going to use our leg muscles, our hamstrings, our thighs. So I just want you to press out through your heel, flex your foot, try and straighten that leg, press out. Good. Let's do two more. So warming up, and again, you can still be holding on to something if you need to. And let's do the other leg now. And woo, kick out. It might take a few times to get straight and get locked out, and if you don't get locked out, and if you can only go here, that's okay too, but press through that heel and go as far as you can go, and let's do one more. Anybody notice one ankle or one knee clicks? We'll try and do some adjustments to work through that, but it's good just first to notice if you have one knee or one ankle that clicks. And if it's painful, if anything that we do is painful, just go ahead and stop, catch up with us on the next exercise. And then write in the comments whatever was painful or whatever question you do have so that I can address that. And I can see the comments. So if you comment, I will be able to touch on that hopefully. All right, so we did just standing, we did some kicks, we warmed up our legs a little bit. Let's do a little bit more warming up of our legs. Our leg muscles are our stabilizers as well as our core, but again, it's starting from the feet and traveling up. So we're gonna lift, let's see, I want this one to be my standing leg, right? Okay, so we're gonna lift that one knee up again. And now, slight bend in the bottom leg. We're going to see if we can send that leg back, and I want you to go opposite hand of foot. So whatever leg is down on the ground, again, hold onto a wall. Sorry, the wall's over there. Hold onto a wall, hold onto a chair, whatever you need to hold on to. We're going to see if we can bring opposite hand down towards the ground. And if you can't touch, that's okay. Again, bend in that standing leg. And just go as far as you can. If you can touch, go ahead and come back up. Same leg, if you can, keep that foot lifted. And bending the knee, hips are going back. We're going to come down as close as we can to touching and back up. So again, stay holding on if you need to. Stay right here in the level 2 with the bent leg. And level 3, that standing leg stays bent, but that lifted leg is going to straighten, and you're going to press back through the heel, touch down. And then when you come up, bring the knee up and go back down. So we're still on that same leg, pressing back through the heel, touching down, lifting back up. So these are actually like this is a single leg deadlift for all intents and purposes. And this exact exercise right here, let's do one more on this leg. Woo! This exact exercise right here, press out through that heel, straighten that leg, is what I really like to do. Other leg, other side now. I really like to do these. Again, level 1, you're holding on. Level 2, you have a bent. Top leg. And level 3, you're going straight back. Okay, so I like to do these for my warm-up before I get on my board. Opposite hand to foot. So whatever leg is down, that opposite arm is reaching down. So these are really great because it's firing up, as you can probably feel right now, all the stabilizers in your ankle. It's warming up the hamstrings, the glutes, and then when you bring this knee up, you feel a little quad, the core. So I wasn't counting, but let's do one more because we can. Press back through that heel and come up. Cool. So those are single leg toe touches or single leg deadlifts. Really great to add to your paddle warm-up, especially if you're going to be doing onto any unstable waters. So let's take it a step further. So now I do want you to go near a wall. Everybody go near a wall for this one. And let me get this guy out of the way for a minute. I want you to bring one foot about 4 inches, 10 centimeters, I think that would be, away from the wall. Basically so that if you're standing straight to the wall, your shoulder is almost just going to about brush the wall. And we're going to come down, except for it's same arm now, so the arm that's against the wall, we're going to come down. And if you could touch the ground easily with a bent leg, great. If you cannot touch the ground easily, you can use a little bit of a prop. I happen to have 2x4s right here. If you don't have 2x4s, you know, maybe you have an OC seat or a foam cushion Or what did I use on Tuesday? Some boxes of soup. You can use something so that you don't have to reach all the way to the ground. The hip, go ahead and lean against the wall. And then the standing leg, press through the heel, but then keep that hip and those toes pointed down. So, we are here, and these are like the airplane rolls. I like to, in yoga, they're called half moon. On Paddle Monster, we call them airplane rolls. So you're up against the wall, and you're going to rotate so that you open, and your shoulder and your butt, if you can, press the wall. Keep pressing through that heel, and then rotate so that the toes and the hip bone and the shoulder point down. And then roll up, and then down. And let's just do one more here against the wall. You don't have to have your hand on something if you need it. Okay. Now, bending this bottom leg, go ahead and stand up. If that was challenging, stay right here. If you want to make it a little harder, take that foot about another 4 inches away from the wall. And so that if you need the wall, it's there. But if you don't need the wall, you're not touching it. So now, we're going to come back down. Again, you can have this hand on something. And you don't have to have your hand and your foot in a line. Your hand is going to be a little closer to the wall. So, press through that back leg, hip and toes and shoulder pointing down, and then you're going to open them up to the side. See if you can open up as wide as you did when you were leaning against the wall, and then back down. And then open up. Ooh, press to the heel. Breathing here. Very slight bend in that standing leg. And open. Okay, so bend in the knee. Go ahead and come up. If that was really challenging, just do that again. We're going to do one more, and we're still on the same leg. Or, well, 3 more. And if you want to make it even more challenging, you're going to take that hand off the ground and do your rolls with, with no hands, if you can. So, it's easier if you keep your gaze on the ground. I'm cheating, I'm touching my elbow to the wall. Whee! Okay, one more. Bend the bottom leg. Come up. All right, shake it out. Let's do the other side. So, other foot 4 inches from the wall. The fingertips are going to be up against the wall or on your prop. And you're going to kick all your paddles. You're going to press that foot back. You're going to hips and shoulders towards the ground. A slight bend in this standing leg. And we're going to roll open. And the reason we're doing this against the wall first is some of us need the wall. And then the other reason is I really want you to feel how much you can roll and open here. Because when we're not touching the wall, go ahead and go through a few rounds. It's really easy to kind of come about 2/3 of the way and think, oh, I'm open. But really, if you lean back against the wall, you can open a lot more. So, I think that was 3. All right. Bend the bottom leg to stand up. Again, you can stay against the wall. That's totally cool. Or you can move a few more inches away from the wall. And let's come back down and do 3 more. La la la. Okay, hips pointing down, toes pointing down. And we're going to roll open, press through the back heel. All the way open. And back down. Breathing. It's hard to talk and breathe. But one really important aspect to balance is the breath. Whoop, the wall's there if you need it. Okay, one more. I'm stuck against the wall. The breath is really important because the breath is what brings us into the moment. And the breath is what brings us into focus. And that's what we need in order to be balanced. Bend that bottom leg, come up. Okay, last set of 3. Maybe you're doing 4. I'm moving pretty slow because I'm talking. But that's cool. Let's come down and again, use the wall if you need it, and use some props on your bottom hand if you need it, or try, if you feel comfortable, to do it with no hands. Pressing through that back heel helps, and leaning back, hips pointing down, toes pointing down, opening up. Can't breathe and talk at the same time. But, and I lost my train of thought. Last one, open up. Okay, bending that bottom leg to stand up. So, those were airplane or half moon rolls, and those are really fun to practice. It's a nice stretch, it's a nice challenge, and remember to breathe. So, legs are pretty warmed up now, yeah? Feeling hamstrings, feeling glutes, probably feeling ankles and shins. So, that's kind of how you want to feel before you get on your board, like especially if you're working on surfing, downwinding, things where you need to be able to move your feet on your board. You want to be loose in your ankles. You want to have the glutes and the hamstrings engaged and all those stabilizers engaged. So let's do the walk the plank exercise. The walk the plank is like this Larry Cain original, and I'm going to make a confession. Today was my first time doing walk the plank, but it's such a good exercise. And what Larry says in his blog, it actually is harder than moving your feet on your board in some cases, depending on how you have your plank set up. And so if you don't have a 2x4 right now, that's totally fine, but I do want to demo for you the exercise of walking the plank so that you can try it at a different time. And I want you to grab your paddle as well. We'll need the paddle for this. And again, you could lie down a strip of tape on the floor that you have to walk on, just walking in a straight line. You could do the sobriety test instead. So while you're grabbing your 2x4 and while you're lying it down, if you don't have a 2x4, I'll show you the variation. So, the variation though, you don't need your paddle for it. So I'll put my paddle here, and I'll use it in a second. You are going to, when I teach people how to move their feet on their board, the first thing that I say about moving your feet is either keep paddling or brace. So for this exercise, we're not going to be paddling. So I want you to be down in a low brace position, right? Then, and again, imaginary line on the floor is totally fine. Then, the other thing I say is bend your knees, get your body weight low. When you lower your body weight, you lower your center of gravity, your leg muscles engage more, and it's going to be easier to balance. So, bend your knees, get in your brace position, and you're going to, you can do what Larry demos in his videos is a cross-stepping technique. I'm like experimenting with this actually the way that I would move my feet on my board, which is step, shuffle, step. And the cool thing about doing this on land is you can, if your paddle, on carpeting, your paddle's there if you need it. I wouldn't slam your paddle down on a hard tile floor. You can do your cross-stepping. I like to step, when I move back on my board, the reason the 2x4 is so great for moving your feet on the board is the next thing I tell people after I tell them either keep paddling or brace, so your paddle stays low, your body gets low, right? The third thing about moving your feet on your board that's really important is you need to find the center line of your board. If I step over to the side of my board and then try to lift this foot to move it back, what's going to happen is all my weight's going over to one side of my board and I feel really unstable. What I need to do to prevent that is when I move my feet on my board, I need to move them up and down the center line of my board. So now, with 2x4s, and I actually found I think this is a 1x2. I'm not a wood I'm not a builder. I'm a paddler. So I found a narrower piece of wood, which for me it makes it actually a pretty challenging exercise. So I'm going even narrower with my plank. And if you want to make it more challenging, you can add. Larry puts balance cushions under his. I only have one balance cushion, so that doesn't work. If you had 2 balance cushions, that would make it more challenging. So, bracing, bending your knees, lowering your center of gravity, and then finding the center line of your board as you walk are really important. So, obviously, I want you to try and have your paddle just off the ground, but if you need to, you can use it for balance. And this exercise is going to train you to move your feet up and down the center line of your board. I want you to look forward. I'm looking at the screen, but I want you to, look at your screen or look forward. Try not to look down. And if you've only been going in one direction, let's go the other direction now and try the other foot. So, it's harder on a 2x1. But I think that this is a really great exercise to get you to move your feet up and down the center line of your board without looking down. It's going to really help you nail that movement of getting your feet in one line, one plane of motion up and down your board. A couple of variations for walk the plank. Option 1 was just a 2x4 on the ground. Option 2, you can have 2x4 on top of a couple of balance cushions. If I had another balance cushion, that would make it less stable, right? This little tweeny little plank is a big challenge, but super fun. And then if you don't have any of that, if you just have a line on the floor, this is called the sobriety test. This is what you can do. One foot right in front of the other, very slight bend in your knees. This video is on the Paddle Monster app. You're going to bend down, if you can, as close as you can to touching the ground in front of your feet. Stand up. Keep your feet right where they are. You're going to bend down, reach behind you as close as you can to touching the ground behind your feet, and back up. And then step one foot in front of the other. Down and up, down and up, and stepping. And you want to do this about 10 steps with each foot. Just working on that midline stabilization, really good stuff for paddlers. Questions about any of that? Thanks for the shout out. This is awesome. Okay, you guys are awesome. Now, if you do have a balance board, if you're one of the people that has these foam cushions, it's probably because you have these balance cushions, it's probably because you have a balance board. If you don't have a balance board, that's okay. I'm just going to talk about it for like a minute or two, but it is a really great exercise for paddlers when you're on dry land to improve your stability. This is a Kumo board. This is inflatable, which is cool because it doesn't hurt if you fall. You can deflate the roller so that a little softer is a little easier, and it travels well. Other companies are Indo boards, balance boards, there's all different ones. You can do it easier on the cushion. Let's start on the cushion. Really great way to use it on the cushion is if you want to work on that ankle stability and mobility, trying to step right in the middle, and you can have something to hold on to if you need it. But stepping up on one leg and stabilizing on that ankle. And again, I'm on the cushion, not the roller. And I'm doing some ankle circles with my bottom ankle. This is really great for building up your ankles, right? So the other leg, and you'll find you always have one leg is going to feel a little bit stronger than the other. Arms up is easier, arms down or arms behind your back is going to be more challenging. If you want to have both feet on there, I actually find the roller easier than the cushion for having both feet. But where I think this could be really cool is everyone's stuck at home working right now, working from home. I'm bending down so you can see my face. It's kind of an awkward like half squat position, but an idea that I think is really cool is if you are working from home right now, if you have a standing desk, not standing on this the whole time, that's going to wear out your joints and your legs, but just taking like 5-minute breaks on your standing desk, on your balance board, and doing a little bit of work standing up. See guys, I'm not that good at these things. Alright, so again, arms out is easier, arms at your hips or arms behind your back is harder. And this is in the hips. And I like to work on turning the feet sideways, moving the weight from the front foot to the back foot, and switching stance, front foot to back foot. So just being straight up, again, you could do this for even if it's just a minute or two. You're stretching out, you're still at work, you're on your computer, your standing desk, or just play around with it. So balance boards are great. Not everybody has one, so let's move on. Let's do some core stabilization, which is also going to help you improve your balance. I will try and write down these things that we did, or this Facebook Live is going to be saved so you can come back and reference it anytime. Let's go on to hands and knees. Cue Oscar. Oh, he's sleeping. He's sleeping. Hands and knees. All right. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. We're going to do some core stabilization exercises. I'm going to move through several of them. This is more of, again, if we're doing them all, by the end you're going to feel like you've done a core workout. But I'm not structuring it to be exactly like a workout. I'm more structuring it to give you these examples and some of the cues for these examples and give you some ideas of really great ways that you can do core exercises at home with no equipment or with some equipment that you might have. Hands under your shoulders, spread those fingertips out wide, and externally rotate your shoulders. So that's like you're taking your hands and you're twisting them like this without actually moving them, just isometrically, that movement into the ground. And you're on your knees. I'm going to back up a little bit here. And knees are right underneath your hips, and the back of the neck is long, and the back is flat. And we're going to press through the back heel, keeping the hips square, keeping the shoulders square, pressing that back leg straight. So that's level 1, is just bringing that knee back. Level 2 would be taking the opposite arm and reaching it forward and lengthening out. And then we're going to come back. You can either stop here, or you can lengthen out and you can come and curl your nose and your knee towards each other. And then lengthen back out, and you're going to have your toes pointed down, your knee pointed down, and your hip pointed down, and your thumb pointed towards the sky. And curl in, so toes down, thumbs up, lengthen out, come in. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Holding here. You can stay right here. You can do 3 more of those, or you can do a little curl, reach back, see if you can tap your toe and lengthen out. Tap and lengthen. Tap and lengthen. And 1 more. and then back down. Good, let's do the other leg. So again, level 1, just stay here, hip points down, not up, toes point down. Maybe you want to extend that arm forward and reach out, lengthen. Maybe you want to stay right here, or maybe you want to bring your nose towards your knee, toes down, thumb up, curling in, reaching out. 3 more. Cool. Stay here, or come back down, wherever you feel like. We're going to curl and bend the knee and reach back. You don't have to touch your foot if you're here. That's fine. Wherever you can get to. That's good. Keep that knee lifted. Keep that hip pointing down. And I wasn't counting. 1 more. There it is. And let's go ahead and come down. Cool. So those are called bird dogs. And now, let's progress a little bit from there and do some bear position. Those animal names. A bear hold mixed with some shoulder taps. So first, bear is hands on your shoulders, same position. Externally rotate. So the elbow creases. The inside of the elbow points forward when you externally rotate. That's another way to cue it. Knees under your hips, and then curl your toes under, and then just lift your knees 2 inches off the ground, or just 1 inch off the ground. So that's a bear. And just holding a bear just like this with your knees just 2 inches off the ground, that gets to be a pretty intense core exercise. So you can stay right here, or you can really tighten up your core and feel, especially your lower abdominals, and pull everything into the middle, and then you're going to, without letting your hip drop, you're going to tap your opposite shoulder, tap your opposite shoulder. So the goal here is to stay perfectly still and do these shoulder taps. So if you're swinging from side to side, or even just a little bit of sway from side to side, the least amount of movement that you can make to do these shoulder taps, the better. Let's do about 2 more. Breathe. Cool. And come down. So, those are really fun. Let's do a next progression from there and do plank taps. So, we're going to come back into our tabletop and hands under shoulders, knees under hips, curl your toes under, come into your plank position. Back flat, pull the belly in, and you can stay right here, totally fine. Or you can, with your feet a little wider apart, these ones are easier. Trying to not let your hips move, right? So if I'm moving from side to side, I'm not stabilizing my core. So I want to try and do this without any side-to-side movement. And then see if you can bring your feet a little narrower. Woo, gets a little harder, doesn't it? Cool. So let's do 2 more. Don't sway from side to side. And come down. Just going to check the comments. And so you can do these on your forearms as well. If you're a forearm planker, that's totally cool too. Let's do them on the forearms. Elbows under your shoulders. Spread your fingers out wide. And then curl your toes under. Come up into your forearm plank. Back flat. You can see me, right? Yes, good. Okay, so if you're on your forearms, shoulder taps don't really make sense because your elbows are still down. So we're going to do hip taps. Whoop! They're harder. So try not to sway from side to side as you lift and tap opposite hips. 2 more. can't talk and breathe and do all the things at the same time. Hopefully you guys are breathing and doing these correctly. So that's how you can do them on your forearm, is hip taps. And then we can do plank leg lifts. Planks are some of the best core stabilization exercises. And then when you add in single arm, single leg, and some rotational variations that we're going to keep progressing to, they become about, so they're about core strength, and then they become about core strength and stability. So I love planks, I love plank variations, and there's so many of them. Right, so we did bears, we did shoulder taps, we did hip taps, and now this one you can do, if you're a straight arm planker, do your straight arm. If you're a forearm planker, do your forearm. Whichever one is more comfortable for you, you can be there. So for this one, you're going to lift one leg, and then the other. And this one's the opposite. If your feet are closer together, it's easier. If your feet are wider apart, it gets harder. And you feel your core and your hips stabilize more to not lean from side to side as you lift. Hi, Oscar. So let's do a couple more. Keep those hips really stable. That's not how you do it, Oscar. Oh, he just came over and farted on me, you guys. Oh! Okay. Okay. Thanks, Oscar. Comic relief. I'm working up a sweat. I hope you are too. Come here, you little stinker. Come here, you little stinker. All right. So, one more plank variation we're going to do is side planks. So again, if you're a forearm planker, do this on your forearm. I'm more of a straight arm planker, especially for side plank. I'm going to do this with a straight arm. Level 1 is going to be with your front leg, so your top leg in front of you, so that you can keep this hip nice and lifted off the ground. Level 2 is both feet are on the ground. Level 3 is one foot's right on top of the other. Wherever you want to be. Side plank, this hip lifting up. Bottom hip lifting up. Well, both hips are lifting up. So we're going to add a twist. And we're going to reach underneath and behind us. We're going to twist and look behind us. And then we're going to lift and twist up. And we're going to do 5. 2. Keep those hips lifted. Again, level 1. Level 2. And level 3. I think that was 5. Go ahead and come down. So let's do the other side. Again, forearm or straight arm, whichever you want to do. We're going to come up with those hips nice and high. Level 1, front leg, top leg in front of you. Level 2, both feet on the ground. Level 3, the feet are stacked. And let's do some twists. Reach behind you. As you twist, exhale. Look behind you, twist as far as you can. Inhale, up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift the hips. I hope you guys are enjoying Oscar. 3, I think. 2 more. 4. Whee! And 5. Okay. Coming down. Okay. Those are some of my favorite plank variations. Now, if you have a stability ball, grab your stability ball. Again, I know not everyone, like the balance board, not everyone has a stability ball, but if you do have one, I want to give you a couple of my favorite stability ball exercises. And if you don't have a stability ball, go grab a couple of paper plates. If you have paper plates, whew, hot. And we can use the paper plates. Now, great exercises for the stability ball, kind of like I was saying with your balance board, you could use standing desk. With your stability ball, a great thing for working at home or you can take this when we're not working at home to your office, is sitting on a stability ball, because it really encourages good posture and good core stabilization when you're sitting, and it reduces the amount that you're, bent forward, leaning forward, or having bad posture when you're sitting for long periods. So I wouldn't totally replace your desk chair with a stability ball, but have it to use in intervals to encourage good posture when you're sitting for long periods is great. And then a way that you can do workouts with it, well, there's tons of ways you can do workouts with it, but we're talking about core stabilization. You can also sit on this when you're watching TV. You could also stand on your balance board when you're watching TV. I know we're all watching lots of TV right now. Well, not all of us, but a lot of people are. So watch the TV, but then use some of your balancing exercises and tools while you're doing it. And then it's even better. Stir the pot. Another favorite one on Paddle Monster. If you are part of our programs, you know this one. If not, this is a great one. So you kind of get into like a forearm plank. You can do this on your knees, or you can do this up in a full plank position. And you're going to make circles with your elbows. Like with your hands together, it's like your hands are holding a big spoon and you're stirring a big pot. And we're going in the same direction. I'm going to do about 6 or 8 circles in one direction. Nice, as big as circles as you can. So smaller circles is easier. Bigger circles is harder. And then let's stop and go the other direction. Again, if you need to have your knees down, you can have your knees down. Every time you move your elbows away from right underneath your shoulders, you increase the amount that your body needs to stabilize, your core needs to stabilize to hold you in that position. So one more, and rest. Keeping your core tight, your back flat, your belly pulled up. Those are stir the pots. Things that help for these kind of exercises, especially when you start to lose the center, is think about tightening your lower abdominals, like all the way down from your pubic bone, like pulling up tight, pulling up, like zipping up. That's what's going to help you feel really stable in your core when things start to get unstable and move off of that center line. Another great one for the stability ball that I love to do is knees to chest. So, sorry Oscar, you're going to put it underneath your shins. And in a plank position, you're going to pull your knees into your chest and extend back out. Try and keep your hips in one line. So if you feel your hips are, really lifting up or dropping down, that's not good. You want to stay in one plane as much as you can as your knees come in and your knees go out. So those are knees to chest. If you have your stability ball and you want to go through one more round of stir the pot and knees to chest, great. Do that now. If you don't have a stability ball and you want to see how you can do these exercises, grab your plates. Depending on your surface, I actually found this is a really thin carpet. It slides better than my tile floor. So depending on whatever surface you have, finding one that the plates will slide on is good, but you're going to put the plates under your hands and go ahead and keep your knees down, and if you're on the ground, you're going to want some padding underneath your knees here. And this is kind of like ab wheels. Without ab wheels, you're going to go out and you're going to pull back in. I'm going to slide a little bit this way. Going out just as far as you feel you need to, and really pulling back in, keeping your shoulders down, feeling that you're pulling from your abdominals and from the sides of your core, not with your arms. Kind of like when we're paddling, the arms are just the extension of the body, but the work is being done by the larger muscles. So depending on your surface and how far you go, those can be pretty challenging or not that challenging. And then you can do the knees to chest as well by putting the plates on your feet. And with your hands under your shoulders, you can do these on your hands, or you can do them on your forearms. You're going to pull your knees into your chest and extend out and in and out. Again, keeping your back flat, keeping the hips level as far as you can go in, as far as you can go out. So, who knew that paper plates were fitness equipment? Fun stuff. So, those are some of my favorite core stability exercises. And then another fun one, if you have your stability ball, and then, my goal is after, in another, couple of minutes, I've already been going for 50 minutes? Crazy. Okay, I'm going to try and take us outside and do the slack line. I'm just not sure that my signal is going to reach. So, if I lose you, I'm really sorry. And if not, let's go play on the slack line. I didn't realize it was already 50 minutes. So forget the other stability ball exercise. Let's see if my signal will reach outside. If you start to lose me, let me know in the comments. And so maybe you are someone who has a slack line and you've set it up and you're like, wow, this is really hard. Or you've never even set it up. You don't even know where to start. I hear that a lot. Slack lines are super fun. They take a lot of practice though. So I would need to do a whole nother Facebook Live just on slack lines. Comment if that's what you want, and I will do a separate Facebook Live for just slacklining. I'll have to figure out how to get the signal to work out in my yard. So let's see if it does. Otherwise, for right now, I'm just going to play around a little bit, and it's been really fun doing some balance and core training with you guys. And yeah, slacklining is awesome. It's great. I think it's great surf training because you'll see some of the things that I do on the line are similar to surfing exercises, or like the positions I would get into when I'm bracing on my board. I find myself like using those body movements a lot to stay on the slack line. So I think it's really, really fun. Okay. Y'all are being so quiet with the comments. I can't see my computer screen. I don't know if you can see me. Yeah, you can. Oh, I can see it. So, if you can hear me, balancing is about breathing. It's about focusing. And slacklining, the most important thing about slacklining is breathing, focusing, and what that trains us to do, besides be really good at core stability, what that trains us to do is to be in the moment. And that's really important for when you're paddling, when you're surfing, whatever it is that you're doing, being in the moment, being present with your breath. If you're not, you're going to fall off the line. So that's why I find slacklining is really helpful. I didn't bring my hula hoops. You guys think I can do the airplane roll? Okay, so this is called surfing the slackline. So surfing the slackline, you get into your surf stance. You go, woo! Woo! Ah! I wipe out! Okay, and then I always like to try Okay, is anybody still watching? You are still watching. All right. I love you guys. I'm done. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, wherever you may be. Thanks so much for tuning in. Leave me your questions and comments, and I will see you very soon.